Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm Eric and I like to read, and today I'm going to be giving book recommendations to the characters of Stranger Things. So, as you all know, Stranger Things is coming out with season 4 tomorrow, and that is very exciting. We have all been anxiously awaiting a new season with new content, and I'm very excited to see where they take this story. In preparation for that, though, I wanted to give book recommendations to the different characters of the show. Now, I'm not going to do every single character because that is a lot of characters. This show has a very wide variety of cast members, but I'm going to do like the main ones and we'll go from there. So, I'm going to start with Mikey. And so, for Mikey, I have the book One Word Kill by Mark Lawrence. So, I chose this book because this book has a very heavy influence of Dungeons and Dragons and a group of friends that play Dungeons and Dragons together, and Mikey is kind of like their little group leader of their friend group that plays Dungeons and Dragons. So I think that he could get some tips from this book on different like DM strategies, as well as just like I think he would really enjoy this book because it definitely takes some twists and turns that would be very exciting for him to potentially incorporate into a Dungeons and Dragons game, or he would just like enjoy the book because he likes that style of book. If he's a nerd like that, then he would definitely be into this book. And it's a trilogy, so he can continue the series if he likes this one. The next one would be for 11, and 11 has been through it, okay? Their character has gone through a lot of stuff. And so for them, I chose Battle Royale because pretty much every character in Battle Royale is going through it. This is a book about a Japanese class that is put onto an island and all the students need to fight to the death. And so I feel like 11 has gone through a lot of things where they are in life or death situations. And this book has pretty much every character in a life or death situation. So I feel like they would relate to that, and they would also like understand the depths that some of these characters have to go to survive. 11 is clearly a survivor, and so they would definitely understand the characters in this book and probably relate to them. Next up, we have Will, and Will seems to spend a lot of time in like both realms, I guess, and so I chose Downworld for Will because this book is a book about multiple realms that you can like travel to. And so yeah, it just seemed like something that Will understands and would kind of enjoy more than the others because he just like he knows what it's like to like go in and out of different worlds. So that's all the reasoning I really have behind this one, but I thought he would like it. My other choice for him was Bridge to Terabithia because he has that tree fort in like the woods, but I felt like Bridge to Terabithia was too like middle grade for Will. Will seems to go through some dark times. I mean, that being said, Bridge to Terabithia does get dark at points, but yeah, I chose Downworld for him. Then for Dustin, I chose Gear Breakers. I don't actually have this book in physical format, but I did read this book on ebook, and I really enjoyed this book. I chose this for Dustin because when we see Dustin's room, it's full of like all these different like gadgets and gizmos that he's created, and Gear Breakers is literally about people like building these like mecha things that kind of like fight for them in their war with like other areas in this fictional world. And so I think that Dustin would really enjoy learning about these different mecha beings that are created and the different people that work on them and take them apart and build them. I think he would just enjoy like all the technical aspects of it. So I think that that would be something for him. And then for Lucas, I chose, you guys will probably like disagree with this, but I chose Geekerella because this one is a retelling of Cinderella, but it's like nerdy because it's involving a Comic Con. And so the main male character in this series is like probably, I felt like he was relatable to Lucas because Lucas is the one out of his group like don't get me wrong, they're all nerds, which is great, but Lucas is just the one that I would say is probably like the most suave out of the group, and so he's similar to the main male character in this book, who is one of the actors for this like kind of like Star Trek knockoff show. So I felt like those two kind of like had similar vibes, and I think that he would enjoy this book. I'm not 100% sure he's into contemporary, but I think if he did pick it up, he would enjoy it. Then for Max, I chose Clown in a Cornfield, which is an interesting one. I chose this one because Max seems like very much like a final girl. And in Clown in a Cornfield, it's about a girl that moves to a new town and then people start getting murdered in this new town by murderous clowns. But this one character, just like Max, came to the new town and then was swept up in a whole bunch of different events happening in town that were not exactly the nicest events. They were kind of like terrifying. So, yeah, this character's gone through it. Max has gone through it. I feel like they would understand each other, and I think they would like this book. For Hopper, they are the main cop of the series. They're the one trying to help investigate all the things that are going on. And so for them, I chose Ragged Lake because this book is about a detective who has to go up into like a northern village and help kind of solve this murder mystery that's happening up there. And so I thought that they would really enjoy this book because this is kind of similar to what they do. And I thought they would have a fun time with it. I know that like a lot of detectives like to solve puzzles, and this book is very much like a little puzzle for them to solve. So I think that Hopper would enjoy this one. And I don't know why, but like the vibes and the cover just give me like Hopper aesthetics, if that makes sense. But yeah, it's also a pretty quick read. I think they would probably fly through this. Then we have Steve. And so for Steve, I chose Game Changer. Now, I don't have this book in physical format, but my friend let me borrow this and I read it. And it reminded me of Steve because the main character of this book is like the quarterback, the like head honcho, and then they kind of get like put in their place and learn a lot of things about themselves as the book goes on and kind of like change their tune and become a whole new lovable character. And I feel like that was Steve's whole transformation from season 1 to 3. So yeah, I just think that his character and this book are very similar, and I think that he would see some of himself if he read this book. Honestly though, from like season 1, I did not like Steve at all. By season 3, I think he's a fantastic character. So I thought that was really good character development. Then we have Nancy, and Nancy seems to be trying to solve the mysteries of all the things that are going wrong in town. She's trying to find Barb. She's trying to just solve other things that are happening. And so she's teaming up with Jonathan, but she's very much like she's got that inner detective to her. And so for this, I chose One of Us is Lying. This is the story of 5 teens who are in detention, but one of the teens ends up dying during detention. And so the other 4 teens are then thrown into like a murder mystery because they're all suspects. And so we're trying to figure out what happened to this other teenager that was in detention and who did it, essentially. And so I think that Nancy would have a lot of fun puzzling through this book, trying to figure out who the killer is. And I think that she would be very good at putting all the pieces together. Then we have Jonathan, and Jonathan is like a very mysterious character. He's like the camera shy guy in the background that you don't really like notice at first. And so for him, I had a hard time thinking of one, but I ended up choosing Fight Club Volume 2. And this is a graphic novel centered around Tyler Durden from Fight Club. And it's a lot of focus on Tyler Durden's son. And so in this one, Tyler Durden's son has inherited the same kind of like mental illness that Tyler has. And so now he has to like kind of help his son adjust to what he's experiencing through life. And so I thought that this was very much like Jonathan style, mainly because of, well, like the quirky, like in the background characters, but also the art style of this comic book is very like artistic, and Jonathan is a very artistic person. He loves photography. And so, yeah, I thought that he would enjoy the art style of this book and reading through it, honestly. And then lastly, we have Joyce, and Joyce is having a really hard time through the seasons. She has her son disappear for a lot of it, and she is just like going wild, going bananas, trying to figure out what happened to her son, where he is. And so for this one, I chose A Treason of Thorns because in this book, it is a woman coming back to her house, and her house seems to have some sort of magic in it where it does not want her to leave once she is there. And so now she has to try and like connect with the house to figure out why the house doesn't want her to leave, and also like connect with the magic of it. And so it just made me think of like the different scenes where Joyce is like in her house with like the light strings all strung up on the wall and the lights are like going off, giving different clues to things. I just thought that Joyce would definitely understand some of the things the character in this one is going through, and it would be relatable to her. So that's why I chose this one. And those are all my recommendations for books to give to the Stranger Things characters. I hope you guys are all super excited for Stranger Things Season 4. I'm very excited. I'm very curious to see what everybody thinks of the new season. Let me know if you have any different recommendations that you would give them in the comments down below. And let me know what show you would like me to do next. If you guys want to support me, I have a Patreon and a Ko-fi page, which I'll put in the description down below, as well as linked by my bookmarks. You guys know the drill. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Hit that bell notification button so you get notified when I post new videos. I post my videos on Mondays and Thursdays. And until next time, keep on reading.